Okay, so you've brought us this paper about Augustine's early philosophical work. And I got to say right off the bat, this is intriguing.
Okay.
We're diving into Augustine's Cassiciacum dialogues, but we're doing it through the lens of this character Licentius.
Right.
And I'll admit, I don't usually think of philosophy as a page-turner.
Okay.
So tell me more about this approach.
Well, what's so fascinating about this paper is that it treats these dialogues almost like a novel.
Okay.
It's got these characters in a setting that really shape the philosophical ideas, and Licentius is really the key to unlocking this.
So who is this Licentius? Paint us a picture.
Yeah, so imagine like a young, enthusiastic student who's completely enthralled by poetry, but he's totally new to philosophy.
Okay.
That's Licentius, bright, eager to learn, but still kind of finding his footing in this new world.
I like it.
And the scholar that we're reading, Phillip Cary, he argues that you can't really grasp the narrative that's woven through these dialogues unless you understand who Licentius is.
A narrative?
Yeah.
Hold on a sec.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about just some like dry, abstract, philosophical treatise here.
Not at all.
Okay.
These dialogues are really rooted in a specific time and place.
Okay.
We're talking about a villa in Cassiciacum, just outside of Milan.
Okay.
And you got to picture Augustine there with this close group of friends and students.
Okay.
And that includes Licentius and his friend Tigretus.
Gotcha.
And Cary argues that it's this whole setting, right? The characters, how their conversations go back and forth. It's all part of a larger story.
Right.
It's like a journey of intellectual discovery.
So that's got to be why the paper suggested this specific reading order, right?
Exactly.
It's different from how these dialogues are usually published.
I agree.
It really is like we're getting a treasure map
Exactly.
to guide us through Augustine's philosophical development.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Cary suggests that when you read the dialogues in this specific order, you can grasp the narrative flow, the way these ideas build on each other.
It's like he's giving us a backstage pass to Augustine's brain.
Yeah, like a behind-the-scenes look at how his thinking evolves.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And this is where it gets really interesting because it's suggesting that Augustine's not just presenting these arguments.
Right.
He's actually inviting us, the readers, to go along on this journey with Licentius.
Yeah, we're not just passive observers here. We're meant to feel the drama, the excitement of all these intellectual discoveries.
I am so ready to embark on this philosophical adventure.
Okay, good.
So let's delve into the first part of our deep dive and really set the stage for these dialogues.
Let's do it.
All right, so here we are at this villa with Augustine, Licentius, all their friends.
Yeah.
Ready to like really dive into some deep philosophical waters.
Right.
What's the big question that gets these dialogues going?
Well, they start with a question that I think is just as relevant for us today.
Okay.
Which is, what does it mean to live a truly happy life?
It's the ultimate question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I bet there were about a zillion philosophical takes on it.
Right.
So how do Augustine and his friends, how do they approach this in these early dialogues?
Well, at first it seems like they land on a pretty classic answer, which is the pursuit of wisdom.
Oh, okay.
They're drawing on figures like Aristotle and, of course, Cicero's Hortensius, which Augustine credits as really kind of igniting his own initial love of philosophy.
Okay.
So the idea here is this idea that true happiness is going to be found in knowledge, in understanding the world around us.
Okay, so knowledge is power kind of thing.
Yeah.
But this is Augustine we're talking about.
Right.
This is the guy who practically wrote the book on happiness and desire and all the complexities of it.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it can't be that simple.
You're right to expect a little bit of a twist here.
Okay.
Because this is where Augustine kind of throws everybody for a loop.
Okay.
He actually challenges this idea that just knowing the truth, having wisdom is actually enough for happiness.
Okay, I knew there had to be more to it.
Yeah.
So what's this deeper level Augustine's pointing to?
Yeah, so Cary connects this to Augustine's own spiritual journey, his own conversion experience. He argues that Augustine actually believes that true happiness transcends just intellectual understanding.
Okay.
It's about experiencing truth.
Okay.
Encountering it in a way that transforms you from the inside out.
So it's less about just like checking the boxes of knowledge and more about like really letting it sink in and change how you see things.
That's a great way to put it.
It's like the difference between, reading a recipe and like actually tasting an amazing meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just about knowing the ingredients and the steps, but it's about the way those flavors, they all come together.
Right.
The way that the food makes you feel.
And I think what Cary wants us to see is Augustine's not just presenting an argument here.
Right.
He wants us to go on this journey with Licentius.
Exactly.
We're not just like passively studying these theories.
Yeah.
He wants us to feel the power of them and let them kind of resonate within us.
That's right, and that's part of what I think is so effective about Cary's approach here.
Yeah?
He's highlighting that dramatic arc of these dialogues and showing how Augustine uses this back and forth between these characters like Licentius to really bring these philosophical ideas to life.
Okay, so we've got Licentius, our poet friend, trying to figure out happiness and wisdom and all that. What happens next in his journey?
Well, this is where Cary draws this really fascinating parallel between Licentius and Augustine's own life. In the dialogue on order, we actually get to see Licentius go through this profound shift, almost like a conversion experience. And the thing that sparks this is actually discussion about Virgil's Aeneid.
Wait a minute. We're talking about like this big philosophical spiritual awakening, and it's triggered by a poem.
That's exactly what's so striking about it. It's not even about like the actual content of the Aeneid. It's about the effect that it has on Licentius. He just gets hit with this wave of inspiration.
It's like he's seeing everything in a new light.
Exactly.
Kind of gives me chills just thinking about it.
Right, and Cary wants us to feel that because he's saying there's this direct connection between this moment for Licentius and Augustine's own conversion. It's like Augustine's saying, look, even great literature, something as powerful as Virgil, it can only take you so far. There's this deeper level of understanding.
Something you got to experience for yourself.
You can't just read about it.
And for Augustine, that was his faith, right?
Exactly.
Embracing Christianity.
Yeah, it's like the poem became a bridge for him between the material world and something way bigger. And just like Augustine ends up moving from philosophy to this life of faith, we see Licentius make his own big change. This experience is so powerful that he actually gives up poetry altogether.
Wow.
And completely devotes himself to philosophy.
It's like he realizes philosophy isn't just some intellectual exercise. It's about like really confronting the biggest questions there are.
Yeah, and that's why Cary thinks these dialogues, they're meant to do more than just teach us about Augustine's ideas. He thinks they're supposed to actually transform us.
He wants us to have that same experience as Licentius.
Exactly.
So then what happens?
Okay, so now fast forward. We're at the dialogue against the academicians. Licentius is not that wide-eyed student anymore.
He would leveled up.
Exactly.
Now he has to defend the whole idea of truth.
Oh, boy.
Against some pretty tough critics.
Yeah, the skeptics.
Ones who are like, how can we ever really know anything?
Exactly.
It seems like a losing battle. Trying to debate somebody who doesn't even think truth is real.
Yeah, how do you even start with that?
So how does Augustine go up against that kind of skepticism?
Well, it's really interesting what he does. He doesn't get caught up in just like a logic battle. Instead, Augustine, speaking through Licentius, he goes deeper. He's like, okay, what are the skeptics assuming here?
He's calling them out.
He's showing that even to doubt something, you still need to have some kind of faith.
Faith and reason, at least.
Exactly.
Okay, so after this philosophical throwdown, what happens to Licentius?
Okay, so this is where Cary's analysis gets really interesting again.
Lay it on me.
He points out that after Licentius takes down the skeptic's arguments, that mysterious wise man character, the one who's been guiding the conversations, he kind of just disappears.
He just vanishes.
He's gone.
What's that all about?
Cary thinks it's intentional. It's like, now that Licentius has faced down skepticism, he doesn't need a teacher anymore.
He can handle himself.
He's got this.
He's a philosophy master now.
Yeah, he's internalized that process of searching for truth.
And that's the whole point, right?
Exactly.
Cary's saying that following Licentius's journey through these dialogues is like going on our own philosophical adventure.
Exactly.
We wrestle with these big questions. We have those aha moments.
Those breakthroughs.
And we come out with this deeper understanding of ourselves and the world.
And that's the beauty of Cary's approach. He's saying, don't just read these dialogues like some textbook. Experience them like a story.
A story of discovery.
Exactly.
It's about feeling the power of these ideas along with Licentius. Letting them challenge our assumptions and open up these new ways of seeing things.
Exactly.
It really makes you think that philosophy, it's not just about what you know. It's about how you live.
It changes you.
So to everyone listening out there, whether you're a philosophy buff or just curious about these big questions, I think Cary would say, go pick up Augustine's Cassiciacum dialogues.
Definitely.
You might be surprised what you discover in those pages. And maybe even in yourself.
Who knows? You might even have your own little philosophical conversion.
Now, that would be something.
Right.
This has been a fascinating deep dive.
Yeah, it really has.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive into a new topic.